You are looking at a daily chart of the XLF, the financial sector spider. And you can see that this thing broke out from a base here at 45.88. And it certainly was the star of the show today. The financials reported strong earnings. And you can see, the breakout from that consolidation area up a quarter of a percent, while the Nasdaq and other areas floundered. I mentioned yesterday about how the semiconductors were doing well, and there's a rotation that possibly they could rotate out. They rotated in beautifully and it looked fantastic. But what happened today is it just kind of rotated out of here. It doesn't mean it's the end of the world, just a pullback there to the 21. It's still, forming a base here in the semiconductor sector. But, on the NASDAQ, there's a reason for the sell-off, first of all. I'll get to that in a minute. But let's take a look at just the index here on the NASDAQ, as we know that the financials did well and the tech stocks did not. The NASDAQ fell 187 points or 1.01%. The volume was heavy, 20% above the 50-day average volume there. So this is a concern for sure. Why? Well, if you look at prior highs, when the NASDAQ made a prior high, like on July 11th, if I can get my device here, 18,671. And then it reversed lower. So there was climbing, had this big long run, made a high, then reversed lower, closed near the 10 that day. Made a high of 18,671 and closed at 283. So that was quite a big reversal bar. Still closed above the 10. The next few days, inside day, looks chopping around, it looks fine. Then all of a sudden you get the trap door, right? You get hurt real fast, if you hang around too long. So that's why you got to be careful. You got to be concerned. You got to be vigilant. I'm not saying that this is, the end of this rally here, but definitely something to consider here. The next time it rallied up on the August 22nd to 18,017, had a similar looking bar, but this one closed below the 50. You can see that one above the 10, below the 50, and then this one sold off kind of immediately here and made that low of 16,668. And we've been in a nice rally here. Today's bar is not very pretty at all. It made a high of 18,564, which is above this high from the 22nd of August and this high of 18,327 from September 26th. And then it reversed. So it made a high, the highest it's been since July 11th, and then reversed lower. So caution, definitely. I mean, I'm still green. I'm still, we're still in an uptrend. The trend is our friend, but I'm just being vigilant and doing my due diligence here. And I don't want to give back, profits. Who wants to do that? So, I mentioned the shotgun approach. If you have a shotgun approach where you have, a semiconductor stock, a software stock, a home builder, a defense, a financial stock, a utility, then you're kind of protected on this rotation. You're probably not going to maximize your gains on those big up days, like if you're 100% semiconductors and software, but it protects you on days like today. If you're all semiconductor and software, and then you felt it today, and then it doesn't feel very good. So it's just whatever style you choose to use. Just know that there's a heavy rotation going on, and the NASDAQ felt it today. All right, let's move on to the SPY. Once again, this is much stronger than the NASDAQ. And this one closed 0.6% above the 10. Now I'm going to have to go back to the NASDAQ. And this one closed 0.5% above the 10. So, as long as they're above the 10, they're fine. But I would just kind of watch it here. The star of the show today was the IWM. I'm going to get to some of those names. You can see here on this index, made a high of 224.94, then pulled back. Here, this little bull wedge pattern, and then found support at its 50, and it's popped the last 3 days nicely. Today it was up, what, 17 points, 17 cents or whatever, zero, pretty much flat. But it beats the, getting your head kicked in on some of these other indexes. Dow Jones has been making new highs, and it made a new high today and reversed, and that's the kind of candle that concerns me. We saw it here on this day, 41,376 on July 18th. Had that reversal candle and made a low down here to 38,429. So just a word of wisdom, a word of caution here. Making that high and then reversing is not ideal. It was down 324 points, or 0.75%, and with volume a little higher than average. All right, let's move on. I like to talk about stocks. Let's get to the stocks. We had Apple coming out with their new mini iPad or whatever, and it rallied hard. It made a new high. If I go to the 5 minute here, you can see the opening. There was just buyers galore coming in here, pushing that big, monstrosity of a stock higher, and then it sold off into the close, pretty much like everything else that was related to technology. But yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of institutional support to push a stock like that high. I mean, it's a $3.5 trillion stock, and you can see the volume here, 24% above the average 50 days. So Apple looked fine. On the other side is NVIDIA, which had a pullback to its 10. That's all, filled that gap there. Now there was report that there's going to be some restrictions to other countries. I mean, we've heard about this forever and a day. It's the same old, soup warmed up all over again. We've heard it with China. I mean, the United States doesn't want NVIDIA to have other countries allow other countries to have the same technology that United States has. And so it was just a little bit of saber rattling. Oftentimes it's just shorts rehashing the same story, trying to push the stock down. And all it did today was pull back to its 10, found support and closed above it. So, if I owned NVIDIA, which I do, I'm not too concerned about this move. Yeah, I'm not too concerned about this move. Now, if it came down to the 21, I still wouldn't be concerned. But if it sliced to 21, then I'd be concerned. So it's still got a little ways to go. 21 today was 126.17. It's 4.5% above that level. So to me, this thing's still in an uptrend. And, I've got to get to what's really going on here is ASML. They reported today that they had a decent report, but their bookings going forward, their guidance going forward, a lot of headwinds, very weak. I don't know if management's sandbagging or what, but they've done this 3 quarters in a row. And so to me, this is just in timeout. This is not investable at all. It was already below the 200. You could see the prior moves here on the way down. So yeah, ASML, this is, like I said, it's the 3rd quarter in a row. I don't know if management's getting complacent because they do have a monopoly on their equipment, or maybe just the AI revolution doesn't require as much as their equipment, and they're expecting bookings to come in and come in, and they never do, and they don't make an adjustment. So yeah, for me, this is just in timeout. But what something like that does, that's a big market cap stock, and a report like that's just going to knock everything down in the equipment, in the manufacturing group, that's Applied Materials, and then in the semiconductor fabless group, which was ARM Holdings, which pulled back to its old buy point there. That doesn't look bad to me. Pull back to the 10, just like NVIDIA. And then AMD, it's going to hit stuff like this, below the 200 now. Yeah, some of these really got hit hard today. Qualcomm back to the 200. So this is not ideal for the semiconductors. Now, this is ALAB. Like I said, what you want to look for here is the low of the gap day, which is 59.45, stayed above it today. The low is 60.48. So that's what I'm watching. And the 10 right now is 59.52. So definitely watching this one closely, as I think it has a chance to really be a big winner here. All right, enough with the semis. You guys have had enough of that. We got a little bit of pain. The manufacturing. Oh, I know. Taiwan Semi is going to report Thursday. So it could have the exact opposite report and the exact opposite response here. Taiwan Semi just pulled back to its 10 today. Like I said, they report Thursday morning. So you could get a sideways day tomorrow and then a blowout report from Taiwan. And then these guys are off to the race again. So keep an open mind. Don't get too down if you're 100% invested in semiconductor names. You just got hammered today, and that's just part of the game. Live to fight another day. All right, forget AMSL, whatever, ASML. They stunk it up. United Healthcare, another report this morning, they got hammered, 8% lower, and it affected the rest of the group. Molina Healthcare got hammered. Cigna sold off. Not too bad for Cigna. And then Centene, CNC, yeah, sold off 6%. So United Healthcare brought that group down. So at the top of the show, I showed you some of the financial stocks that did well, but not all of them. You can't just go in and buy all of them. I mean, you could buy the XLF, certainly. But this is Citigroup. They reported today and fell 5%. That was, kind of an anomaly, though. A lot of other ones did pretty well. This is Goldman Sachs, which rallied up and pulled back to its old buy point there, close enough to its old buy point there of 517. 26, and you can see the lowest 515. So big bar there. Watching that one closely. Wells Fargo, another one of these big banks, it rallied up to its buy point there of 62.55. A nice 1.4% move. BlackRock made a new high today. Yeah, that one's cooking. You could see the finance investment management group. That's a pretty strong group. Some of the other ones, yeah, BlackRock, Wells Fargo. Oh, COF, friend works at this one, Capital One, making a new high today. So the financials were pretty strong. Fifth Third, another bank. There's a lot of banks that are making new highs, not going ballistic like some of the semiconductor names do, but making new highs up, 1.25%. While the tape is, in the tank. That's not bad. RJF, Raymond James Financial. This is a group is 26 investment banker, and this one made a new high today, trying to break out of that 131 area. HBAN. This is a smaller one, not that small though. It's 22 billion market cap, making a new high and breaking out, looking good. Huntington Bank shares, WAL. This is a little smaller, about a 10 billion market cap. Yeah, and this one broke to new highs as well. Like I said, I could do this all day long. There's a lot of these bank stocks doing well. And this is Columbia Banking Systems. We've had them on before. I might put these on again. The problem with it, it's at 2708. It's near its buy point, but it's just a little extended here as it shot up straight from that 22 area here. And it's 4.1% above the 10. Pretty hot for the banking sector, but not looking too bad as it tries to emerge out of that stage one base there. Anyway, I think you get the idea. The banking stocks was the place to be today. And it's just a rotation out of tech into financials and also into the insurance group. Bro. Oh, wow. Bro finished lower today. Traded at a new high, 107.67, closed a little lower. Not bad, 1% above its 10 EMA. Another one was Jackson, which was trading at a new high. That one pulled back as well. Allstate, how about this one? Up 1.3%, traded at an all-time high today. And SKWD, this is a fairly recent IPO, traded a new high. Pulled back and finished flat today. Yeah, it IPO'd in the end of 2022 or January of 23. So just been on a steady incline, a steady eddy here. Skyward specialty, and I think that's all the insurance stocks. I do have that pet insurance that I like, and this one is TRUP. And this one made a new high, and it's got that 48.85, and it says, see you later, just straight up from the bottom, though. Undercut the 50, then rallied. So, yeah, it looks pretty good. All right, let's move along. The Carnival Cruise Line, the cruise line stocks, once again, I mean, these things are showing incredible strength. Cup with handle pattern working here. That thing was up another 6% today. RCL, Royal Caribbean, this one was up nearly 3%. So a nice move with these cruise lines. Norwegian, yeah, making a new high, up 4%. That looks fantastic. CUK, Carnival making a new high, up 6.84. And the one I had on our ready list, because it's near this buy point here, is Vikings, and it was up nearly 2%. Not bad, pulled back to its 10 and then bounced. That looks pretty good actually still, if you didn't get into it. So anyway, like you just got to be flexible in this market. Oh, I know what I'm going to get to. Another company reported early today. Um, it's CDNA, and they reported revenues, the raised guidance or whatever, revenues above expectation. I think expectation was like 79. They raised like 82, 83 million for the quarter, and then which is this quarter here. So it's about, I don't know, 23 or 24% sales growth on that quarter that was and it is September of 2023. But the market, didn't like it because um, they're testing diagnostic equipment was expected to be 60 million. It came in at 44 million. So they made up for it in other areas, but that was one area that the street was looking for, and they came up short. So it got hammered 15%. And this is why technicians like myself, we fall in love with charts, right? Oh, that's such a beautiful chart. And there was a fair warning here on this pullback, which is a vicious shakeout. And you think, oh, the next 3 days it rallies up, but it couldn't rally back above that high from the shakeout day, which is really kind of what you want to see. And then they pre-announced early today. Yeah, 32.55. It couldn't get back up there. 31.52. So it was about a buck below. And then it sold off. Yeah, they're not supposed to report till Halloween. So they came out early and big volume selling here on CDNA. So that's the way it goes. Kind of strange that you raised guidance and you sold off that hard, though. Not good for CDNA, but it did not really impact, the rest of the group. This is Lantheus. It was up 1.12%, not bad. Once again, this thing's forming a nice little cup-shaped pattern. TMDX, this one cannot get out of its own way. It just continues to, I think, form this little bottom there. It's got that 128 low, and if that 128 holds, it just keeps coming down there to that area often. And right now it's doing it again. So TMDX, they got to report earnings, I guess, to really make this thing trade higher. 131.05 was the low today, so not much off the lows. And the last one that I wanted to cover, oh no, I have a couple more. No, Boston Scientific, another one in this group, made a new high today, then pulled back. A lot of stocks look like that. At the open, they look okay, and then sold off all day. So that's just the way it goes. When, Wall Street wants to sell, they just turn on the little sell buttons, and they sell all day. Oh, a couple of biotechs that I wanted to point out. This is CAPR. When a stock makes a move like this, I talked about this one before, this, high tight, flag type of pattern here. This one is flagging. Today popped to a new high. Want to see what that looks like on the weekly. Yeah, there you go. Just 1 week of pullback, and it's up 21% this week. CAPR. Hard to hold on to. It's very volatile, but all it did really was come back to its 10, found support, and then it's bounced the last 3 days. TGTX, another one that I like. I think you have to be patient with this one, though. This one made a high of, obviously, if you just go back and just look at how this thing trades, it pulls back, rallies, pulls back, rallies, pulls back to the 50 that time, rallies to 26, undercut the 50, now starting to rally again. So, it looks like you just kind of buy these pullbacks and sell the spikes, which is true with many stocks. All right. Oh, and the last one is DRUG. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know, a bunch of hedge funds get together and just try to pump up one of these little, it's 178 million market cap. So it doesn't take much for hedge funds. That's couch change these guys are throwing at this thing and just driving the stock higher. Bright Minds has got 2.4 million shares in the float, so it's easy to push around. It's losing money. Management owns 32%. Yeah, I don't know. This is not going up because of fundamentals or even technicals. This thing looks like the patient's been dead for a long time, and all of a sudden, in the last 2 days, the funds of somebody, I'm not going to say who or which funds because I don't know, but somebody's popping. This is your typical pump and dump, so I'd stay away from this. I know a lot of people like, clamor to stuff like this. It was up 130% yesterday, up to 266. Today it's up to 38. So yeah, if you're buying at 38 today, you could find it down to $10 tomorrow. You never know with these things, but yeah, massive move, massive volume, and somebody's playing around here. Just wanted to point that out. Wall Street is funny games from time to time. All right, I'm going to get to the food stocks because they're not doing too bad. This is Brinker International. This is Chili's and Maggiano's, and I guess the Chili's, what do you call them? The margaritas are really popular, but this is a nice cup with handle. You see the pullback in the handle, rallied up, pulled back to the 21, rallied up, pulled back to the 10. This thing just wants higher prices. So Brinker International looks good. Shake Shack, I don't know if I have this on our ready list this week or not. I still like it though, above 111.17. Nice bounce here off. It continues to come back to the 50 and find support, but it can't keep doing this. It's got to make new highs here pretty soon because when you keep pulling back to the 50, one of these days you're going to slice it and it's not going to be pretty. Cava's not really doing anything here. It's just it pulls back to the 21. I've told you many times, as long as it holds that 110, that's pretty good in my book. It's just the steady uptrend, making higher lows, pull back today, and I think it closed near the high of the day. Let's take a look at the 5-minute chart here. That's a 1 minute. I got to go to the 5-minute. Yeah, sold off today at the open. Woo, that's scary. Sell everything. We're gonna die. And then buyers come in, and a nice high volume close there for a CAVA at the closing row. So let's see what happens with that one tomorrow. Sweet greens, just kind of a nothing day. I don't know why I'm showing this. Just because I'm showing you some of the restaurant names. Here's your sell-off. Buyers come in. Kind of a nothing burger. And a lot of stocks, did that today. Showed you the high at the open and the low within the first, I don't know, hour, and then it just traded within that daily range, just flatlined. Yeah, a lot of stocks did that. It's just lower all day, so not much you can do about it. Oh, McDonald's fighting the trend here. McDonald's making a new high, just busting out. This is an incredible move for a Dow Jones stock here. You can see it broke out of that stage one base. This one's moving higher. It's been up many, many, many weeks in a row. Had 3 weeks tight last week, and now it's up 2.7% this week. So McDonald's looks fantastic. Then I have to go to Nathan's. These guys host the hot dog eating contest July 4th, and I think it's Coney Island. Nathan's famous hot dogs. Anyway, 230 Nathan's famous in 17 states, made a new high today, so that's pretty good in this tape. And then Walmart, they serve food too, Walmart and Sprouts, and I've talked about this pattern. We've seen it over and over and over again, where a stock runs up, makes a high, and then forms this little wedge pattern as it pulls back to the 21, then pops. So Walmart, following suit here. And then SFM, Sprouts Farmers Market, another one making new highs today. This thing looks fantastic. I remember I had it on the ready list when it was there at 103 here a few weeks ago, and this one just trending higher and finding support at the 10. So that one looks fantastic. Just a Kelly Slater stock riding that 10. So you don't have to hold it very long to make money. All right, moving on. I've got to get to the construction names. I still think this is like the hurricane play. The construction, there's going to be a lot of reconstruction there in the south, and they're going to need concrete. They're going to need just a lot of roofing supplies, drywall, and that's why Home Depot and Lowe's are doing well. But Knife River is a concrete, paving company. This one pulled back to its 21. We've seen this over and over again. Big run up, pull back to the 21 on lighter volume, then now it's popping higher. So That one looks good. EXP is Eagle Materials. Once again, ran up and then pulled back to the 21, little wedge pattern, and now popped higher. Today it made a new high. I did mention Lowe's and Home Depot. Those, just popping higher on this. I believe it's the hurricane trade. What other ones here are in this group? PNR made a new high today. This one's forming a little consolidation pattern as it pulls back to its 10 RPM. I keep mentioning this one. This is the DAP or Stolen. Made a new high today, then pulled back a little bit. And so those are the ones that are doing well. Beacon is a roofing company. Consolidating still, cup with handle pattern. And then the other one, of course, is Generac, and I haven't looked at that one in a couple days. Just going sideways around that 169.57 area, so that looks pretty good too. All right, the home builders, they were a sign of strength today as well. DR Horton up more than 1% in a weak tape. This one pulled back to its 50 and found support. Very good. Pulte Homes. This one pulled back to its 21, so it's a little stronger than DR Horton, and this one popped. And then Builder, I thought this one was going to move above 200 today. Looked like it had the chops to do it, but didn't do it. And this one's just kind of forming a shelf. As it pulled back to its 21, traded higher, but it's still just trading within this little shelf type pattern. If I could make more lines, I would. Bottom line is it's got to get above that 203.14 for me to get excited. And then obviously the 214.70 would be your standard. I guess the cup and handle was 185 because that's the high in the handle. So anyway, builders to me needs above 200, and that's psychological. Jesse Livermore number is giving it a hard time. Okay, I'm not going to go without mentioning the software. They did get hammered today, but Tyler hung in there as flat. You can see the 593 is a buy point as it just kind of consolidates in that base. GoDaddy is still consolidating within its base, broke above its downtrend line today, pulled back slightly. The more it pulls back, the more I like it. As long as it finds support at the 10, I don't want it to pull back to the 50. But if it comes back to the 10, which was a 160.53 today, it's still, 1.5% above that. So just give it some time. You could see the 10 and the 21 just traded above the 50. So this one needs more time to consolidate within its base, but I still like GoDaddy, and I do own GoDaddy. And then App, one of the strongest names in the market here. It's down 2 days in a row. Oh my gosh. Let's sell it. The end of the world's coming. It pulled back to the 10 yesterday and a downgrade from Goldman Sachs. Today just had a quiet inside day while the Nasdaq kind of floundered. It was down 1%. So, and the index was down 1%. So not bad. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching, except for I have one more thing in honor of the great Steve Jobs. We have some earnings reports tonight and tomorrow morning, which will affect their sectors, but I don't think it's going to move the market at all. As United Airlines, I guess they had a pretty good report, and it's a pretty cheap stock, but it's made a big move. But yeah, kind of flat after hours. You got to wait till this session tomorrow to see really how it shakes out. Interactive Brokers, man, this thing's been on a roll, down 3% after hours. It's a finance stock, so it's not going to be down for long. JBHT, this is a transportation trucking company. Oh, good. This one's up 8%. It's been having trouble. You can see it's been floundering around, just kind of languishing here in this stage one base. Try to get above the 200 tomorrow. Maybe an 8% move. It can get through that 200 and try to make a move back to the old 198. It's got a gap in its chart here, right here in this day. Gap, the low is 182, so perhaps it'll take that out tomorrow, and another gap here at 192. So yeah, we'll be looking for that tomorrow morning to see what kind of volume it's getting. I did not see the report, but you can see it's been in a base for a long time. If I look at the weekly here, yeah. Yikes. So when they undercut prior bases, they start a new base count. So stage one for JB Hunt. And the last one was PNFP, which is Pinnacle Financial, not moving after hours. I'll have more in the morning. Definitely 100 areas, an area of interest, closed just a tick above there today. So anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. Tomorrow's another day. And like I say, today they rotated into, out of the semiconductors, which are strong yesterday, into financials and insurance. Who knows? Tomorrow it might be oil and gas. It might be defense. It might be software and semiconductors. We're just gonna have to wait and see. Wake up. Tomorrow's another day. And at mcstockcharts.com, we never give up. Thank you for watching. Have a great evening.